Midnight Music Mix.
Well, I got to tell you that from my perspective, music is the most universal language on the planet. I don't care where you go in the world, there's music. I have never been anywhere. I've traveled all over the world, and there's always music. Now, it may be different in style, it may be different in form, but there's music everywhere. And the interesting about music, it doesn't matter how old or how young you are, we all understand music. From a baby in the crib to a senior citizen and everything in between, music is a language we all understand. Music, number one, tells the story of life. And being a blues artist, I mean, blues is all about your life and the truth of life. You know, I say if it's not the truth, it's not the blues. And you've heard that probably said more than a few ways and more than a few times. But music tells the story of life, and I get inspiration from everything that happens in this world. Everything. It may be something that happens in my family. Maybe something happens with a neighbor. Right now, unfortunately, there's a lot of inspiration coming from what's happening, in the political world. And music is very, very powerful that way. Uh, uh, it tells the stories, and musicians, from all over the world, have always used music as a way to tell the stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly, however that falls out. I have always been a music lover, and I have tried to explain, to musicians. I've had a message for musicians I put out to tell them how important music is in our lives, particularly now with everything that's going on. And I want to remind, musicians and everyone else that listens to music how important the arts are to our everyday survival. And I say that because, when an emergency room nurse is gone home from a horrendous night of dealing with COVID patients, etc., she doesn't cut on the news. She listens to music, because music, a few notes from a song, can transport you back to a time, to a place, to a touch, to a smell, to a grandchild's hug, or to a first kiss. A few notes from a song can take you to a time and a place, any other time or place other than now. And that's what we need, is to be able to go back and reminisce and think about those things when we're in a much better place than we are now. So I listen to music that brings back those memories. I mean, you hear a song and it takes me back, to college days, takes me back to a college dance. It takes me back to, it reminds me of my mom and dad dancing in the living room, and and all those things that, for now we kind of took for granted, but now that we don't have the opportunity to get around our friends and as much as we want to, because we're socially distancing and all those kind of things, we took that for so much granted over so many years, and now it's been kind of taken from us. We realize, how valuable that music has been in our lives, and it touches so many people's lives in so many ways. And so, I've told the message to musicians: you've got to keep creating, you've got to keep sharing, you've got to keep performing, whether it be virtual, whatever. You got to be creative. Find ways to get your music out there.
Midnight Music Mix.